I just sniffed it to see what it smells like and I got it on my nose. I got manure on my nose. Ew. Hello, welcome to our first episode of Alternative Smallholding at our growing space. We've actually done loads of work and I completely forgot to film because I was engrossed in what I'm doing. But we are happy to report that the wasps have now vacated the manure bay, and there's some quite dry manure near the top, and then there are some sections that are really well rotted. So the plan is we're going to take all the bags of different things we've got, a mixture of leaves, horse manure and cow manure, chicken bedding, grass and God knows what else, all sorts in there in bags. And some of them have been in there for, well, nearly a year. But because the worms haven't been able to get in, then they probably won't have much to them. What are you doing? You're just divering. It's divering. So our plan now is we're going to tip these out onto here, but we're going to leave enough space around these edges because we're going to add another compost bay onto here. So we're going to get everything dumped out and then mix it up a bit, and then hopefully that will mean that the worms will come up and start helping it decompose a little bit more. Where's that bag from? Look at all those wriggly wigglers. Well, they've been in the bag, but my gosh, they've still got loads of worms in. That's really well rotted, other than obviously the straw bit. I think that might be chicken bedding though, so we've got to wait a good while to use that. You can't use chicken bedding as quickly as you can use horse and cow manure and that, because it's got really high, I believe it's ammonia, I'm not too sure. I'm not an expert on manure. Well, that's rotting down really well, isn't it? While Al empties out all of these bags, I'm going to try and climb over all the stuff that we brought back from the other plot, our video from last weekend. So we brought all our pipe in, a couple of pallets which we're going to use to extend these bays, and then the idea is that we'll tip the manure into these bays, and then that one we will staple all around the edges of this with black plastic, and hopefully that will stop the wasps getting in and making another bed next year. We've got another, that's full of compost or waste. That's another thing of manure. Let's go over here. So I came up the other day and didn't get a chance to come again, but what I discovered when I came up the other day was that Mr. Fox had been digging up my onions and had repositioned some for me. There's still a few in some random places, but what we've done instead is used our little wire teepees and just put them over a couple of rows and then drape this net over the top and anchored it with some bricks. So hopefully that will discourage him a little bit until they've got a bit bigger. That's where we planted the broad beans, and as of yet nothing has come up, which I didn't expect it to be honest yet. And what I've said I would film and I haven't. Oh gosh, it's so sleepy. Is I've planted some raspberry canes. So I literally took off all of this year's fruiting canes and then planted them into the ground. Some of them only had like a few little wiry roots on, but they can grow from virtually nothing, so I thought I'm going to put them in and give them a go. So that's the raspberry canes done, another job off the list. Well, on Wednesday we had quite a storm, and it's done a good job on pulling apart the greenhouse that we hadn't put back up yet. It's not broken, it's just some of the panels have come out, but they hadn't flown away because we are quite sheltered here, so the wind's obviously got underneath and pushed it out, but that's alright. And in there we've got some of our cardboard keeping dry, and those pots are our Christmas potatoes that have had the tops cut off, and they're just storing in there nice and dry now. The garlic is doing really well. So that's the shallots. As you can see, as of yet we have none because Mr. Fox took all of them up and moved them. Found some all over the paths. And I'm assuming it was fox, it might have been squirrels. But garlic is looking good. I'm pleased with that. Okay. Big pile of poo. We've still got our leaves in here, and once we've put that bay on, we're going to add another one on, and that will be a leaf mould bay, I think. Are we going to have 3? Are we going to add 1 more bay or 2, or are we just playing it by ear to see how much space we need? Pardon? 2. 2 would be good, and then at the end I can have a little flower bed down here. That's on the plan. But the more bays we can get to rot down leaves and manure and everything of that kind gives us more materials to use on the no-dig beds, which as of yet we've not made any more progress on. And it looks like this next week is going to be just a week full of rain, which isn't good because obviously the nights are short now, so if it's raining in the day and Madam Boo doesn't want to come over, then nothing happens until the weekend. And then if the weekend's rainy, we have to bring the car, and she sits in the car. Alright, I'm going to help her with this lot. See you in a bit. We've discovered a nifty trick. Whoever built this built it with good intentions. Look at all the wriggly wigglers. Oh wow, you're having a happy time under there, aren't you? Fantastic. Should we get some of that out? Leave it down so I need to get the bags. This episode is basically me enthusing over worms in piles of poo, isn't it? But look at this. Look at it. Gooey, lovely stuff. Oh. I just sniffed it to see what it smells like, and I got it on my nose. I got manure on my nose. Ew. It smells like earth. It smells really nice. Didn't catch your face. You're in a cheeky mood, you are. Right. Manure. Raspberries. Let's make them friends.
That's good manure, right?
Good poo. Left my rake at home, so this will have to do. That will do for today. Another thing that I finally remembered to do today is put this poor gooseberry bush in the ground. We transplanted it from the old plot a couple of weeks ago, and since then it's just been sitting, being kept moist and safe and happy until I actually got up here long enough to pop it in. So if you remember, it had the leader that came off that had sprouted some roots, so I've buried that again to make sure that it develops over winter, and I've just pegged it down with a little hook peg, so that will be ready to cut off in the spring. I want to prune this gooseberry just a little bit, because what you want to do with a gooseberry plant is you want to make sure it's got an open goblet shape, and that will deter any sawfly and create good circulation and not going through. So what I'm going to do is take out any that are pointing inwards. Now there's only one, so I'll show you here. So I'll cut that back to there. I am also, there's these 3 new shoots here, and I don't want too many in one area because they will crowd each other out, and again it won't get good airflow, so I'm going to take out the middle one. And then also what I'm going to do is I am going to cut back this one, because this is coming across the path, and gooseberries are quite spiky and I don't fancy that around my ankles every time I come to the plot. So I'm going to take it back to an outward facing bud. See there, this bud here? We're going to take it back to there, so that when this branch grows, it grows out this way, which is outwards from the plant. There we go, that's that one done. And I am not actually going to trim any more of it. Now it's only, we've only had this for a year, so it is still a baby, so I don't want to overdo it. But if you do a little bit of pruning every winter when the plant is dormant, then you, over time, will create a nice healthy plant with growth exactly where you want it. And it'll be easier to harvest as well, because they are a pain to harvest. You're so cute, aren't you? Yeah. I'm cold and hungry. Well, I'm not cold, but I am hungry. Shall we get off home? Yeah. Yeah? Come on then.
Thank you for watching alternative smallholding.
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 Should we go home? Yeah. Yeah. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe, guys, and we will add to this video and be back and see you soon. Bye bye.